Greetings and welcome to the UN World Ocean Day celebration that is being done in partnership with the United Nations Environment Program as our presenting partner. We're so excited to have with us Alessandra Khouri, who's with the organization, and she is based in Kingston, Jamaica, which is where the organization is headquartered, the Regional Coordinating Agency Unit. I don't remember what it is. I just know it's UNEP based in Jamaica, Regional Caribbean Sea thing. And it's important because we also in Jamaica are the headquarters of the UN Law of the Sea. And finally, now that we have a crisis, the world is taking the law of the sea more importantly. So I'm delighted to have Alessandra Khouri here with me. Hello, Alessandra. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Claire? Thank you for having me.
I'm very good. I'm very happy that this year we've gotten you guys on board to help us get the word out, to help us get this dream of the Caribbean Sea Fan Festival to be become like a feature, a flagship event that in 10 years from now the world will all be talking about it. Because in 10 years from now we're going to have the budget to have camera crews, and the national agencies will be part of it, and we'll have camera crews going out to each island locally, and we'll all be streaming it because the technology will be there, and our cell phones will be doing all the live streaming. It'll be fantastic. And by 10 years from now, in my dream, of course, by that time we have more artists, more singers, more playwrights, more storytellers, more novelists writing and talking and breathing the Caribbean Sea. Because I have found you're not native to the. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia, and I'm actually from an island in the Caribbean. So I'm very much an island and a Caribbean person.
So you're from San Andres, might I ask?
That's right.
Okay. So tell me, how did you get to be in this space? What are you, an environmentalist, a marine biologist, a conservationist? What is the hat you hang yourself on?
I think I'm all of that. I'm all of the above. By training, I am a marine biologist. But I'm very much a conservationist.
Yes.
And an environmentalist. And I've been working in the Caribbean all my life, practically, in coastal and marine issues.
Yeah, so what is your function then at UNEP Regional Coordinating Office exactly? What do you do there?
My function exactly, I'm one of the program officers that we have in the office, and I deal specifically with biodiversity issues, with coastal and marine biodiversity issues, and I coordinate or function as the secretariat for the regional agreement that is known as the SPAW protocol, for the acronym SPAW, Specially Protected Areas and Wildlife.
And so how many people, how many organizations, how many national level organizations then you have in SPAW?
What do you mean national level organizations?
Because
SPAW is a treaty, it's a regional treaty, part of the Cartagena Convention.
Yes.
It's a protocol specifically addressing biodiversity issues.
But you see, what happens that, I mean, most people, when you think of the Caribbean, they're thinking of the islands to which they go and spend tourism time. But really, the treaty has other countries, doesn't it?
Okay, I see what you mean. Yes, the treaty has been ratified, as we say, or signed off by 16 countries of the Caribbean. At the moment, we have 28 countries or governments that are parties, 25 that are parties to the Cartagena Convention. And of those 25, 16 have adhered or signed off to this agreement on regional agreement on biodiversity.
So we have work to do then.
We have work to do. Yes.
Yes, because I know that the Association of Caribbean States and the Caribbean Sea Commission, which is a major arm of that, actually has 36 countries, doesn't it?
Yes, I think so. Member countries, right.
Right. So of those 36 countries, only 25 actually even are parties to your convention on protected areas.
Yeah, but remember this, Claire. I think when you talk about the 36 of the Association of Caribbean States, you are talking about countries itself. We talk about states. We talk about states, and that's why in the wider Caribbean region, there are 28 possible states that could be parties to the Cartagena Convention. That covers the entire region from the United States, Central America, except El Salvador because it has no coast on the Caribbean Sea, the South American countries, and all the islands, except
Okay,
Bermuda.
so just to be clear, because we want to make sure that people understand. So, for example, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Saint Barthélemy count as one state. Even
Correct,
though there may be
France.
three nations, they are
Correct,
one state. So
correct.
that's why you
And
can have 36 people or countries in the ACS, but only 28 in the convention because there's a state could be
yes,
made up of more than one island nation.
correct. That's it. You
Okay,
got it.
okay, so good. So see, I'm learning, folks. I'm getting there. So tell me then, are you finding that your work is becoming easier over time, let's say the last 3 years, with the rising interest in climate change and concern, and after the signing of the accords in December?
Hmm. I don't know if the word is easier. I think the issues are greater. So I
Ah,
don't think our work is easier. What I can say that I think it has helped a lot is this level of awareness that we have now, and that there is I would say, a much more concerted effort to have more regional integration, more regional cooperation, which is really what the Cartagena Convention promotes. So from that sense, I think, yes, that we are now making more progress towards regional cooperation for addressing transboundary issues, environmental issues that are affecting more than one country, that.
yes, 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 which is what the sea is. The sea doesn't belong to
Exactly.
anyone. I mean, yes, by law, technically, you can say you have an economic zone and the fish are my fish. But really, the fish are nobody's fish. The fish go where they want to be. And maybe when they're on your side, they're your fish. And then they come to my side, they're my fish. But if they come to you when you're young and then you eat all of them and I have none, then, how fair is that? So I do believe that we have a lot of work to do in terms of education. So on that
Right.
note, how is UNEP and working towards embedding some of this new information, new knowledge into the educational system of the region itself?
Well, UNEP as a whole does a lot of work with that, but as you know, we are focusing here in the Caribbean, and through the Caribbean Environment Program, we do have a program on education, training, and awareness through which we try to disseminate information on a daily basis, actually through social media now. That is the most effective way, I would say, to approach the common people, civil society. We disseminate the information on the status of the marine environment, on tools that are there, on best practices to manage the coastal and marine resources more sustainable. We disseminate news. So there is a lot of work that we do with regard to education, information, and also with capacity building. We have in our program, we have activities specifically on building capacity of national institutions, also local institutions, community-based organizations, NGOs. We work a lot. As long as we have this common objective for the conservation and sustainable use of the coastal and marine resources in the Caribbean, we work with whoever is in the region trying to do the same work that we're trying to do. And we have learned through the years that we accomplish a lot more when we partner, you
So,
know.
have you been able to have any partnerships with either the Caribbean Examinations Council as responsible for setting exams for the schools? Have you been able to get any partnerships from some of the teachers, colleges, teachers, universities, where you can do workshops for geography teachers, or workshop for biology teachers, or workshop for science education teachers? Are you able to get those partnerships so you begin to infiltrate the education system? Because I know when I went to school in Jamaica, I didn't learn one thing about the sea, not one striking thing. Okay, and my house when I grew up as a child was no more than 10 minutes walk to the sea. So, uh, are we able to get your global influence to sort of
Mm-hmm.
help open the doors to change the education system itself, so that the young
Mm-hmm.
people coming up in elementary school are being taught more about the things around them.
Yeah, well, uh, I would answer that question at two levels. Remember that there is also within the UN system an organization that deals directly with education and science, and that's UNESCO. And they have that specific mandate to work with the educational systems in the countries to
Got
do
you.
precisely what you just outlined, right?
Yeah.
But separate and apart from that, and they do work along those lines that you described. But separate and apart from that, our program, we do partner from time to time, not in a very formalized way, because again, that's more UNESCO's mandate, but through our specific projects, we have partnered with universities. University of the West Indies is one of our main partners for
Got
work
you.
that we do.
Got you.
And at the local level, we have had activities with schools or through NGOs. We then provide the information for them to work with a particular institution that is providing awareness or education. So yes, we do that work and we try and participate as much as we can. We have a lot of countries in our program, as you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and a big mandate. So it's
Yes.
not always possible, and not a lot of resources, so it's not always
I know. That's
possible
the
to
challenge.
cover
That is the
everything.
challenge.
Yeah, the challenge. But yes, but we try as much as we can. We realize that's extremely important. Education is the basis, is the foundation.
Yes. So education, then at least we have the hope of increasing partnerships. So what then would say is the big vision for UNEP regional coordinating body, your office in the next say 2 year stretch? What is some of the two big things you are working on? The biodiversity is one. Within biodiversity, anything specific you want to bring to our attention?
Yes, I think, as I said at the beginning, our main thrust is to support and to enhance regional cooperation.
Yes.
Yeah, so we continue to work very hard with that to get all the partners on board, the countries, and as well as the organizations. There are many organizations in the region that have this objective like ours. So we try to collaborate, and we have currently a project in the region called the Caribbean Large Marine Ecosystem
Yes.
project, right? And that it's we are one of the main partners of that project, and that project is trying to do precisely that, to enhance coordination and integration of the for the sustainable use of living marine resources in the region, to integrate the work of the different organizations. It's the same governments. We all work for the same countries,
So
right?
let me ask you a question.
So
Because
that's one of our major projects, let's say, in the next couple of years. But and through that, we hope that we are going to be then addressing biodiversity issues like the ones like the coral reefs, for example, or the decline of fisheries in the region. You know that we know that
yes.
every time fishers complain, they have to go farther and farther because there's no fish in the coastal areas as they're used to. So
So
these
ma'am,
are the kind of things that we would like to address.
so how does your unit now, the SPO work with the other things such as the issue of marine debris, litter? Are you working with the private sector, the people in the cruise shipping industry, the industry itself, shipping industry that are doing bilge water discharge or whatever? How is the private sector being brought
Yes,
into the work of the UNEP office?
yes, very much so. Um, a parallel but an integral part of or integral program of the Caribbean Environment Program is our program on assessment and management of environmental pollution. And this is an area I don't coordinate. A colleague of mine does that work. And we also, like in SPOM, there's a regional agreement,
Uh-huh.
the LBS protocol, the Land-Based Sources of Pollution protocol,
Uh-huh.
right, that is trying to address and provide assistance to the governments to address issues like sewage, management of waste, and pollution from land base. And we have a very important and comprehensive projects under that area, under that protocol, that are exactly doing that, providing the know-how, providing resources to the country so that they can address those issues. And through that is working with the private sector, because they are just part of the polluters. They are just part of
Yes.
the organizations that contribute to this, but many of them, and more so every day, they want to be part of the solution as well. They realize, that they have a lot at stake, and they are getting more and more involved.
Well, I like the sound of that, that the private sector wants to be part of the solution. We have come to the end of our 15-minute segment very rapidly. I can't believe our time is up. But I just want to thank you so much for taking time to share some thoughts about the work of the United Nations Environmental Program in the Caribbean. I do have one last question to ask you as we get this story I am writing along with you. We're co-creating a story of the life and times of the Caribbean Sea. And so I'd love to hear from you. Why does your life need the Caribbean Sea?
My life needs the Caribbean Sea because I'm surrounded by the Caribbean Sea. And practically everything that it's in my life, it's influenced by this Caribbean Sea. The climate around me, the food, the culture, the pleasure. So I depend on it. And I think all of us that live around it, we are dependent on it. So that's why. And that's why I want to help conserve it and use it sustainably.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's a fantastic place to end our conversation this morning about the life and times of the Caribbean Sea. Folk, we've just been talked to Alessandra Khouri. She again is a program officer responsible for SPOR, specially protected areas in the Caribbean Sea, and she works for the United Nations Environment Program based in Kingston, Jamaica. Thank you so much, Alessandra, for being with us.
Thank you, Claire. And let's keep in touch.
Definitely.
Okay.